What's up, Faith family? Jarvis God and Voyager Arts YT here, and today we're yet again bringing you a bit of a different video. Today we're going to be reacting to Pastor Greg Locke of Global Vision Bible Church, and usually I don't like to get too much into like religion or politics on this channel, since this is just a place. This is just supposed to be a channel where you can kick back, relax, enjoy some unfunny videos, but. I've been following this guy for a while. I watched some of his messages, and I think he said it best himself. Greg Locke is a little bit half-cocked, and he recently came out with a new video entitled, "We warned you this was coming, Pastor Greg Locke, Global Vision Bible Church," which goes into some very interesting subjects, and I thought I may as well react to it. I started watching the video. I don't know. I haven't seen the entire video. I don't know what he says all throughout it. People need to be beware of this stuff, because a lot of people are falling into this trap. There are people who eat up every word that this guy says. I watched some of his sermons, and then there's always that one guy in the congregation going, "Go, go, go!" Yeah, and then one of them I was watching, and then he said, "Oh, I like that go, 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 but hold off. Gonna need a little bit less of that tonight, because I'm gonna be saying some stuff up here that'll have you going, no, no, no." And of course that was right after he accused Kenneth Copeland of being a predator of children. I can't remember if he called Joel Osteen a predator or if he just called him a limp-wristed preacher, which is very ironic considering Mr. Locke's mannerism. So yeah, right now we're just gonna be reacting to this video, having a bit of a laugh, and just worrying about the state of the world, since this is some interesting stuff. So let's just jump right into this, shall we?
Hey guys, Pastor Greg Locke
right.
here. All I have to say is, well, here we are. We told you
Gotta
that
love
this
that
was
southern
going
inflection.
to happen. We've been banging this drum, and we have been blowing the alarm for a while.
Okay, right before he starts saying anything, he's not going to be talking about what you expect. All right, now he's a preacher, so you'd expect he'd be talking about the Bible, talking about some verses, how it correlates to real life, even maybe some biblical revelations coming true. But no, he doesn't talk. He doesn't talk about the Bible in this video, or honestly, what's anything related to Christianity from the parts I saw. This is yeah, you'll see. Oh Lord, man.
This monkeypox nonsense now today has gone full-blown hysteria mode. We've heard a little bit of rumblings about it in the last few weeks, really the last couple of months, gearing up to what we knew was going to be, let's do everything we can in our governmental nonsensical power to stop the midterms.
Okay, so for some context, today the WHO, World Health Organization, which I personally think is pretty corrupt, so I'm actually with Greg on this one. They declared the whole monkeypox outbreak a global public health emergency of international concern. So we all need to be pretty worried about it. And so obviously, Mr. Locke here got a hold of that news, and he himself is freaking out. It's ironic how he says that there's a coming mass hysteria that's coming up, that's gonna be surrounding the monkeypox, when he himself is getting into a hysteria because he's afraid that they're gonna reinstate 2020 lockdowns again, which is highly unlikely from what I read personally, and then again, these may all be lies, since I love to get my information from Twitter. Kind of like a boomer loves to get their information from Facebook. But from what I read, monkeypox is it's somewhat airborne, but you got to be in close contact with a person for a long time. It's not like you can just catch it in a supermarket, walk by somebody, and it can also be transmitted through sexual activity. Let's just keep it a $1.50 here, and no, even though a lot of the cases have been diagnosed in gay men, this is not a gay man's disease. This is not a gay-related disease. And if you think this is some sort of gay-related disease, then you are genuinely retarded. Because you know what else was considered a gay-related disease? AIDS, HIV. It used to be called GRIDS, gay-related immune intestine disease. I forget what the acronym is. But, they changed that real quick. And now HIV, it's not really... It's not just a thing that the gay man has to fear now. Everybody has to fear it, So yeah, to me the whole narrative that it's just gays propagating this stuff and catching it, to me that's asinine, and it really is hateful. It really is hateful, and people are just using it for their own advantage. But yeah, back on this topic of Greg Locke here, of course he would, and he's a very opportunistic guy, so I'm not surprised that he would take this opportunity to make a 10-minute long video about how the Democrats are going to start stealing our freedoms with these imminent monkeypox lockdowns. So,
That's what they're going to do. So today, the World
Lord,
Health
bruh.
Organization, yeah, the organization that we have surrendered some of our national sovereignty to, has now declared, not a national,
Okay, okay. So what he means when he says that we have ceded some of our national sovereignty to the WHO, there was a pandemic treaty that was signed a little while ago, maybe a few weeks ago. I think they actually signed it in May. Greg Locke, he actually talked about this in one of his sermons for some reason. I guess this is one of the sermons where it takes him 45 minutes to actually start preaching from the Bible. But he said that the United States, essentially, they signed an agreement that said, in the event of a pandemic, the United States would cede all their national sovereignty to the WHO, this scary international organization. When in reality, that's not actually what the treaty meant. Um, and even if we did cede our national sovereignty over to the WHO in a time of a pandemic like COVID, not like monkeypox, but if that ever happened, the WHO, as corrupt as it is, being manipulated by the Chinese, the Africans, whoever created what virus or pandemic at that time, they don't have the infrastructure to actually control any government that signs this treaty. So yeah, that's kind of asinine. And also, why would the United States sign something like that? That's just stupid. And I guess that's part of his whole thing. Well, Biden, he hates America, and also he has dementia, so he doesn't really know what he's doing. And I'm like, homeboy, no. just stop. None of that is true. I think you know it's true, but you still just keep going around and saying it, which, maybe he should start preaching from the good book instead of his corrupt mind, since that's all you really get from Greg Locke's pulpit. Well, let's just hop right back into the video. I'm going off on the tangent, bro. We're only 47 seconds in. Oh,
an
man.
international crisis because of monkeypox.
It is not. They did not call it an international crisis, and he uses this word frequently from what I saw. This is a global public health emergency of international concern. Okay, it's not an international crisis. He's just using that to scare his viewers.
And I say this is total, what I like to coin the phrase as BS.
He coined the phrase BS. I didn't know that, man.
Stupidity. I cannot believe that people are going to swallow this nonsense hook, line, and sinker. This is foolishness, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I have to say, in parentheses, everything in this video is my humble opinion. But it's a very strong factual opinion. But,
How can you have a factual opinion? Literally, half of what you say, and you're in a church, so what you're saying from the Bible is already fact, or at least that's how it's supposed to be. Demagogues like Mr. Locke here like to just give their opinion up in the pulpit, and they like to claim it's factual because they interject a Bible verse every now and then. No. You're going off on a rant about transgenders or whatever, and then you say, well, actually, Leviticus 7, and no, this isn't even the gay marriage verse. He just gives a random verse from Leviticus or Titus or whatever, and then actually, I do preach from the Bible. And no, you don't, man. Just stop. No, you don't. So nothing in this video is going to be factual of any kind. It's just going to be a lot of opinion. Just saying factual opinion because a lot of people that watch him are stupid enough to believe that. And yes, I do watch him regularly, but I don't get behind a lot of the stuff he says, man. And I know that there's no such thing as a factual opinion. There's an opinion that's based on facts, and then there's an opinion that you want everyone to perceive as facts. So, yeah.
YouTube and Facebook, and everybody wants to can me when I get up and say something bold. But now here we are.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Greg Locke he's extremely persecuted. I remember there was one sermon he did. I think he was confronting the culture. I can't know what your kids are being taught in school and not say nothing. Okay. 5-year-olds, or what he say? 3-year-olds, they're being taught. They don't know if they're a boy or a girl or whatever. And they said, let's go CNN, let's go Vice News, let's go NBC, let's go Netflix. Welcome to the house, CNN. Joe Biden, sleepy old crook. And I'm like, what? Just stop. I just watched that video if I'm having a bad day and need a laugh, man. Cause holy crap, man. Just stop. Just stop. He's embarrassing himself. He's not as persecuted as he believes. Oh shit, I got a message.
Monkeypox, World Health Organization, an international crisis.
It's not an international crisis.
So I'm just going to go on record and let you know. Here's what they want to do.
Shut up,
They're
that's
going for the next round of lockdowns. We've been telling you that it's coming.
It is. I highly doubt there will be any more lockdowns. They do technically work. In the case of the hospitals just being completely overloaded by patients sick with a particular disease, such as COVID. But in the case of monkeypox, I honestly don't think that would be necessary. And either way, lockdowns, they completely tank the economy. They force the government to start printing money to send out all those stimulus checks, which they were gonna have to do. They're gonna have to do it. They institute another lockdown, and Biden, he doesn't want to look bad when it comes down to it. His presidency needs to look somewhat good, even though things are kind of a complete disaster right now. So it's highly unlikely there'll be any lockdowns. They'll probably try to roll out some monkeypox vaccines. I don't know if they're going to work, but yeah, I'm sure Greg Locke will be complaining about that too, but he needs to keep it real here. There probably aren't going to be any lockdowns, and I think he's just going into hysterics over something that probably won't happen.
And sad to say, some businesses, some churches, and some people are going to believe it and going to go back into isolation, back into depressive, anxiety-filled lockdowns, and ruin the economy again, as if the Biden administration has not done already enough. But not only that, now they're going to say...
keep in mind, the economy has greatly... I mean, it was improving in 2021 under the Biden administration. They saw a hell of a rebound, but now in 2022, things have gone to crap. But I think he's conflating Biden and Trump's COVID response. This coming from the dude that loves complaining about vaccines, but always conveniently leaves out the fact, or maybe hell, he doesn't know that Trump was the one who gave these pharmaceutical companies all these money for the vaccines that don't actually work very well. Yes, I said it. I don't think they work very well, but that's a topic for a different video. Yeah, probably gonna get lynched by YouTube for saying that. Hi, Susan.
You got to obey the government. Okay, government knows best. No, government does not know best. Okay, government does not know best. You ought to read a history book and figure that out. And then they're going to say, just live in fear. That's what they want. Don't live in faith. You live in fear. Use your common sense. Follow the science. Follow the science. Yeah, like men can get pregnant, Google.
Okay. Let's just hop right into this. So this is part of a larger discourse about transgender people, and I think what he's referring to is how some publications have stopped using the word mothers or women and started saying birthing persons instead. Because they're trying to be inclusive to trans men who actually can still get pregnant. Not in all cases, I'm not trying to generalize, but it's just inclusive language, and when it comes down to it, it isn't my place to speak on that. It wouldn't be appropriate to give my opinion since I'm not a trans man, so that term wouldn't really affect me in a genuine way. I would just have my own superficial opinion of it, and the same goes for Greg Locke. As far as I can tell, he's not a trans man. I mean, he's something on the LGBT spectrum, but he's not a trans man. So I leave it up to that community to actually say what they think on the term. But either way, that's all just a roundabout way of saying that there are men that can get pregnant, and they are transgender. They transition from a woman to a man, and that's just how it is. I don't know what to tell him, man. I guess he doesn't believe in transgenderism, but that doesn't change the fact that there's still transgenders out there. So I don't know what to tell him. I'm sure he has a nervous breakdown every time he sees a trans person. And hell, he may not even know that someone's transgender. There's no way of knowing, man.
What kind of science is that? But nonetheless, that's a whole another video for another time. They want you to live in fear. But here's what's coming. Mark my words. Ding, 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 ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's go to the church.
I don't know why he's so corny, man. I say this winner, winner, chicken dinner. Trump actually won the election. Like, no, he didn't. There is no winner, winner, chicken dinner in this situation. You literally just lied to your audience, and you gave some corny expression while saying it. Come on, man.
Let's close the churches. And these sellout preachers.
Oh, so that's what he's concerned about. He's concerned about the churches closing. Oh, really? So that's why you're so upset about the lockdowns. I'm starting to think this guy doesn't actually care about freedoms of the American people, and he cares more about having all that offering money go away. And look, I know that can hurt. The preacher's got to pay himself. But homeboy, Greg Locke, public health is public health. So the COVID lockdowns, they were necessary to keep the hospital capacity under control and stop everyone from getting the virus at once. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't change the fact that they let everyone get the virus in December and January and February of 2022. But that's besides the point. You know, they were useful at the time, even though it did tank the economy and they did have to shut down some churches. But if he doesn't want to shut down, then that's perfectly fine. But the fuzz is going to show up at the church, and he may get fined. Now that's not to say that the fuzz will actually show up at his church and fine him, since a lot of them really just didn't care during the pandemic. But if there are new lockdowns, which there probably won't be, he is just fear-mongering to ignorant people who don't take the time to actually look this stuff up, that the church is going to be shut down, that it's tyranny. And he's trying to make it seem like it's ideological, like the lockdowns are specifically targeting churches to usher in some sort of new atheistic agenda. And when it comes down to it, he's got to realize that the government is secular. The government is secular. That's not something he's going to change. I know there's a whole Christian nationalist movement, but that doesn't change the fact that the Constitution's still secular. You know, he can say whatever he wants, but they're not specifically targeting churches, because mosques also got shut down. And synagogues also got shut down. So this isn't just targeting Christianity or like moral values, as he claims.
Are going to do it again. 95% of the churches in America were closed during the COVID debacle. They're going to close down for this monkeypox. I say send on all the monkeys. You can send on all the monkeys, okay? I'm tired of all this foolishness. I've had a gut full of it.
Okay, the monkeypox came from literally the middle of Africa. It originated from a monkey, but it's not being spread through monkeys in the country. It's being spread through people. And you know, a large part of the Bible is dedicated towards health, keeping clean. It's why places like Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed back in biblical times, because they were unclean, they were dirty, and they were sinful. Mostly because they were sinful and they did all sorts of out of pocket shit, but they were unclean places. And there are lots of parts of the Bible, like Leviticus and all that specifically say certain things for the purpose of public health, such as the famous verse, I forget which one it is, man shall not lie with man as he would with woman. You know why they had that in the Bible? Was they didn't have condoms. So if you laid with a man as you did with a woman, you were very likely to catch some sort of STD, herpes, hell, maybe even the early forms of HIV, and that wasn't good for the smaller communities that they had, because stuff like that could spread rapidly. So that's why that's in the Bible. It was that part of the Bible especially was written in a different time in history. So verses like that, which are commonly used to put down homosexuals, it was put in there for the purpose of public health. But of course, you know, that's been thrown completely out the window, and now you got people like Greg Locke that are just trying to completely disregard public health, when in reality the health of the church is paramount. Because if the church, you know, all dies off from monkeypox, then who are you gonna have left? Come on, Greg Locke, at the bottom of the totem pole, man.
Cobra helicopters and thousands of soldiers before we will ever even remotely close the doors of our church.
Come on, there will be no goddamn COVID helicopters or thousands of soldiers. You are not that important. This will not be Ruby Ridge. That none of this is going to happen. Okay, come on.
And then we're going to fight and not do it. We are not shutting down over this monkeypox stupidity. They're trying to steal another election, ladies and gentlemen.
They're trying to steal another election. Come on, man. So he's implying that the Democrats specifically engineered a monkeypox to help them win the next election. Now, keep in mind, Democrats are in control of the Senate, the House, and the presidency. So if they engineered monkeypox and it got out of their control under their watch, no matter how it was made, then they're going to suffer in the midterms because they didn't do anything about it. And this is a year already where Republicans are slated to win the midterms. So like, oh my God, man. And he loves to espouse the belief, because it's not a theory for him. This is a wholehearted belief that Trump won the 2020 election. So keep that in mind.
Good grief. If you are still as
Good
naive the
grief.
second go round as you were the first go round, my goodness, you deserve the deception that's coming your way. Because God said in 2 Thessalonians that in the last days people would believe this lie. They would believe this deception.
How exactly is monkeypox a deception? I just want to know. I honestly want to know. Because we are being lied to about a lot of things right now by the government and by the media. But monkeypox doesn't seem to be one of those things. Take global warming, for example. The media is conditioning us, at least in my opinion, to eat bugs and shit and eat other people and all this weird freaky stuff, like from the New York Times and all that. And when it comes down to it, this whole climate change narrative in the media about how the common man is the primary source of pollution and not the rich 1% who take 3-minute private jet flights and waste all that jet fuel. We are being lied to about climate change, and we are being lied to about what's going on with gas prices and all that. All that stuff is connected, and we are being lied to about that. Stuff like monkeypox, that's completely unrelated. There are easier ways to control people, and engineering a virus is extremely dangerous, but that's not the best way to do it. We are not being lied to about this. This is a somewhat serious thing, but of course, leave it to Greg Locke to not do anything to protect himself or others, because it's all fake. That he's being manipulated. All right.
And now the World Health Organization, World Health, they know Jack Sprat about health in my humble opinion.
Jack Sprat.
The professionals, the scientists have declared an international emergency over monkeypox. We told you that it was coming. And when they declare an international crisis, that means that they control everything.
No, it doesn't.
The food chain is going to collapse. Transportation's going to collapse.
No, he's lying. He's lying to you again. Okay, so first of all, they will not have full control. Excuse me. They will not have full control. Okay? Let's just keep it $1.50 here. The WHO is going to have full control. They don't have the infrastructure to do that. They're being led by the Chinese. They're not being led by the U.S. They may be able to control their people, but they're not going to be able to control people like Greg Locke, obviously. But either way, he's saying that the food chain is going to collapse. I think he meant the food supply line, and the transportation is gonna collapse. What the hell are you talking about? All right, let's just keep it real here, because they've been saying that the food supply thing has been getting out of control for a few months now at this point, when in reality it's not affecting America as badly as it's affecting like undeveloped countries in the world, like say El Salvador or Ecuador or any other of those Spanish-speaking countries, or as Donald Trump would have said, Mexican countries that I haven't named here. Honestly, all we'll see in the United States, Canada, UK, all the wealthier countries, is that certain food prices are just going to increase because of, I guess, the war in Ukraine and just global supply chains being stretched to their friggin' limit. So that's what's actually going on. This monkeypox stuff, it's not going to make the supply chain crisis any worse. What is he talking about? Dude. And this basically has nothing to do with Christianity or anything biblical at all. All right? I guess the last days mentioned, sort of, but all right? You're just being a political opportunist here. In one of your sermons, you implied that you might run for president one day. All right, so don't tell me that you're doing this for the glory of God, when really it seems like you're doing this for your own opportunistic needs.
Inflation is going to rise. It's not going to get better. We've been telling you.
It's already pretty bad.
Prepare. We are not QAnon conspiracy theorists. Okay, at this point, we need some new conspiracy theories because all of ours have come true. So I just want to go on record and tell you, we didn't shut down the
What?
first time.
Keep in mind, he's associated with someone from QAnon. I forget what his name is, but a lot of the conspiracy theories going around are completely fucking fake. So let's just clear the air of that right now. It's completely fake, and he's friends with one of the people that's tied up in his QAnon BS, and he believes it himself. All right, and you see how quickly he tried to disregard. He believes it himself. He said he had these weird perverted tapes from Hillary Clinton from their in Podesta or whatever from their child sex dungeon. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have this video. Stop lying to your congregation about videos that you don't have.
We're not shutting down the second time. So when you need a good Bible preaching, fired up, Holy Ghost filled church to go to, 2060
All
Old
those
Lebanon Dirt
adjectives.
Road, Mount Juliet, Tennessee. It's not been dirt for 50 years, but come on. 2060 Old Lebanon Dirt Road, Mount Juliet, Tennessee. 10:30 on Sundays. 6 o'clock for full-blown deliverance service on Sunday night. 7 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Man.
And we'll go every night and every day of the week if we have to accommodate the thousands of people that are coming and that continue to come. Look, we baptized over 4,000 converts in a horse trough in a burning hot and freezing cold tent the last 2 years. And I say to God be the glory. We're going to baptize 4,000 more converts during this monkeypox nonsense. We're not going for it. It was stupid then. It's stupid now.
Oh my God. Okay. Again, he's just using the monkeypox thing for opportunism. He's really just embarrassing himself. He really is embarrassing himself with this stuff. And
Okay? Think about this. We are handing over our nation.
No,
our
you.
families,
No, we
our
aren't.
businesses, our churches, our faith, our schools, our children, for God's sake. We are handing all of this over because a buck-wild, demon-possessed, out-of-control, tyrannical government.
Okay, he loves to accuse people of being demon possessed, and keep in mind he called him Buck Wild too. Bro, who says that anymore? But yeah, he loves calling people demon possessed, like Kenny Copeland, all them, Joel Osteen, other preachers or people he doesn't like, Joe Biden, I guess. And while I do agree with him, and I do admire him for the deliverance ministry stuff he says. I don't admire him for much else, but the deliverance ministry stuff, I gotta say that's pretty good. He's doing a good service to his community doing that. That's got to be done, in places of worship. But when he's just he's just going off on something that isn't real. None of this is real, okay? This whole hysteria he has about the monkeypox lockdowns and all the things he thinks is gonna happen, they aren't gonna happen. Because again, he's either lying or he just doesn't know, or maybe he just read the news and decided to record this 10-minute video about things that he obviously doesn't know that much about. It is unlikely that they'll lock down again, and if they do lock down again, like Mr. Locke here says, then I'm gonna eat my hat. I'm gonna eat my hat.
Decides what we can and what we cannot do with our life. That's not biblical. That's far from constitutional. That's not even logical.
Okay, why does it matter if it's constitutional? Okay, because he said this was a tyrannical government here doing this. Okay, and by that he means the WHO, because again he's circling back to how we supposedly ceded all our power or all our national sovereignty to the WHO. So why in the world would the WHO care at all about what the Constitution says? He's just spouting out buzzwords at this point, man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and there's nothing scientific about this. I'm not living in fear. I'm living in faith. I'm not obeying a government. I'm obeying God.
Okay, I'll grant him this. WHO is very unscientific. They're very unscientific. I'm gonna at least grant him that.
I am not going on any lockdown. Our family's not going to lock down. We're going to live our life, and we are not going to high water. We are not going to close down the doors of our church. I don't care what Joe Biden says. Okay? I don't care what any of these people say. The Democrats can say what they want to. The Republicans can say what they want to. We are not closing the doors of our church. Not today, not next week, not next month, not in 6 months. I don't care how bad it gets. I don't care if there's a stinking nuclear attack. God forbid, but I am not closing the doors of this church.
Okay, you know what's a little weird? And I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. This isn't really related to the video, but in New York, they recently made some PSAs talking about what to do during a nuclear attack. And just look them up. New York nuclear attack PSAs 2022. They were a little bit sus. And I'm wondering if he knows about that. I'm wondering if Greg knows about that. Because if Greg knows, if he ever found out about that, he'd be making a whole 20-minute video about how the Democrats are colluding with the Russian government to prepare a nuclear attack on American soil. Just spouting off more lies, and he gets views doing this. I mean, he gets views and attention, and he loves that stuff. Hell, I'm giving him attention. Technically, I'm persecuting him, just like CNN and Vice News and all them. So
Now, we won't be the only one open in America, but we might be the only one of 10 or 20 open in America. I got some good friends that have a rod, iron, steel backbone that are going to stand up. And hopefully, some of these cowardly pastors will get their skinny jeans off and pop in the pulpit and say, you know what? We went out on round one, but we're not going to do it on round two. And stand
Christ.
up. We already know Andy Stanley and some of these, foo-foo cotton candy preachers are not going to do it. At the end of the day,
it's interesting. He likes to call other preachers foo-foo, cotton candy, and limp-wristed just because they won't get up in the pulpit and start spouting all the hateful BS, or should I say biblical stupidity. He likes to get up there and peddle, because what he gets up there and says is hardly biblical, and it's a hell of a lot of stupidity.
we're staying open, okay? I don't care if that
All
checks
right.
the height of the devil or come that makes you. I don't care what people say. They can call me Jim Jones. They can call me an insurrectionist.
You know what? I'll show my grandma a clip of this. And the first thing she said was, "This guy's just like Jim Jones." I tell you what. Oh my God. This guy talking in that vaguely flamboyant accent, getting all fired up over literally nothing, over literally just a declaration of monkeypox as something in particular, as a public health emergency of global blah 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 concern, and he's getting up in a fuss about this. See how ready he's getting. He's tilted about this. He's angry. All right, all over a statement from an organization that he clearly doesn't respect. Interesting.
They can call me whatever they want to.
That has
He's
no
the next
control.
David Koresh. No, I'm just going to stand up and say, we are not closing down. Okay? Let me say that again.
Okay.
We are not closing down. Monkeypox, crab pox, elephant pox, chicken pox. Okay? We ain't closing down for none of the pox. Okay? We're not.
Oh my God.
We're not. Okay? We are not getting into this. I ain't masking our love. Little sheep. No.
Just
I
stop.
ain't doing it on airplanes. I ain't doing it in the streets. We ain't doing it at this church. We sure ain't gonna do it at this church. If the whole world masks up, you ain't wearing masks in this church. If you're under some kind of
Hell, nobody was wearing a mask anyway. There are very few people out there still wearing masks. I mean, hell, I still wear it, but there are very few people out there still wearing it, cause a lot of people just don't see the need. And I mean, that's their pejorative. They can do whatever, but you can't claim all this government tyranny of the government, like instating these mask mandates, because who the hell cares if there's a mask mandate? Because barely anyone's gonna listen to them anyway. It doesn't even matter. Just, oh Lord.
doctor's orders and cancer treatment. We know it's all good. But a bunch of protesters show up here with a bunch of masks over this monkeypox nonsense. No, not playing these games.
Okay. Quite a bit to unpack there. So he doesn't realize that and you know what? I don't expect him to realize this, but just one person wearing a mask, it doesn't. If you're wearing a mask, it doesn't necessarily protect you from pathogens. It stops you from expelling them. So if one person's wearing a mask and no one else is in the room, then that's not going to do anything. But if everyone in that room is wearing a mask, then that protects everybody. And you're preventing disease from spreading, because you never know what's going on with somebody. They could be living with someone that's friggin' immunocompromised, or just old, or someone's going through cancer treatment or whatever. You don't know what exactly is going on with everybody, and you wear a mask for the good of your community. Because you never know the health status of people. But in fact, most people in the U.S. they're unhealthy, overweight, obese. Got diabetes, sciatica, arthritis, rheumatoid disease, the lunatic spirit, as Greg would like to say. So, a lot of people have a lot of health issues that leave them in a bad place in terms with their health. So, a lot of people that hell should be wearing masks, they're watching Greg Locke and they're not gonna wear them. So, maybe Jim Bob's watching this and he lives with Granny Flora, age 102. Just survived a bout of liver cancer or whatever, and has a crappy immune system, and so Jim Bob's gonna go out there, pick up COVID, more accurately, because monkeypox doesn't spread through the air that well. But he comes home, gives Granny Flora COVID, and she dies. And so that's on him because Greg Locke is going around peddling this anti-mask nonsense, and that's what always got to me about the anti-mask stuff, because it's just a simple thing that you do to protect others. And I mean, hell, it even still works nowadays. It even still works nowadays. They were coming out saying, well, cloth masks, they still aren't effective. And I mean, maybe that might have been true at one point, but when it comes down to it, literally one person wearing a mask now, you're gonna be more protected than 90% of the other jokers in that room. It would be better if everyone was wearing them, but at this point, if you're wearing a mask, you are protecting yourself pretty well. So shit.
Didn't play it the first time, and I for stinking sure ain't gonna play it the second time. I'm more bold now than I've ever been. I'm digging my heels in. We're not quitting. We're not closing. We're not gonna stop. So share this video. Or don't. It don't really matter. They'll probably try to take it down anyhow. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm sharing this video, and as soon as I'm done recording, I'm downloading it, because Mr. Greg, you are being persecuted, at least in your eyes, in a very interesting way. I would like to see YouTube take this video down. I highly doubt they will, but how persecuted Greg Locke is. All those live streams, they get thousands of views. Every time he streams. So
telling you, don't believe it. They're gonna say close the churches. I say open the churches. They're gonna say live in fear. I say live in faith. They're gonna say obey the government. I'm gonna say that you ought to obey God over the government. They're gonna say
how are you obeying God by not protecting your community during a lockdown of any sort, be it COVID or monkeypox? How are you obeying God? Because when God sent Jesus down to this earth, Jesus gave us two commandments. That was his new covenant. He said, love God, love the one true God, and love your neighbor. So, if I'm walking in the pilot, coughing and hacking, I got God knows what, and we're in the middle of some sort of pandemic, be it COVID or whatever, and I just go ahead and cough on my neighbor. How the hell is that loving my neighbor? Because I'm anti-mask, I picked up something, and now I'm spreading this sickness to my neighbor. The hell is wrong with you, Greg? That's not loving your neighbor. And Jesus is God the Son, so he gave us that command. So by not protecting your community in a particular way, in the most effective way, then you are not loving your neighbor. You are disobeying God.
I'm going to say live your life. Good grief. Take your kids to the park. Go on vacation. Go to church.
Literally nobody said you couldn't go to the park during COVID. Literally. Preferably you would wear a mask if you ran into somebody, but you could still go to the park. There were a lot of things you could do during the pandemic, actually. Trying to think back to 2020, you could do a hell of a lot. You could go to restaurants and stuff. You could we visited family during the lockdowns. You could even go to the theaters. Personally, I didn't do that because I wasn't trying to be laid up in the ICU. But yeah, there was this one fucking Hollywood movie, Tenet, that came out during the pandemic. It made $50 million. So clearly, people, they got out of the house, and living their lives, doing shit. And so, you can still do a lot of stuff during a pandemic lockdown. They're not stopping you. It's just suggested that you wear a mask. But to this guy. And people like him, not just him, any suggestion of doing something from someone who seems to be smarter than you or who is perceived as smarter than you, that is a threat. That is a threat to something deep within him. It's not necessarily masculinity, because it's men and women, but I guess it's just a threat to their sense of independence, to their sense of personal serenity. I don't know.
Go to the movies, right? Go to a restaurant. Go a couple of times a week just to push back. Go support local businesses.
Oh my God. You're kind of forceful with it, man.
Don't believe this foolishness. It is deceptive, demonic influences that are causing this. Okay?
Demonic influences are, or they're the ones propagating the idea that monkeypox could be serious in any way, shape, or form. So let's apply this logic to Greg Locke here, okay? So the statement, assuming that this is demonic forces influencing this, the statement said that monkeypox is serious. So Greg Locke believed the words of a demon because the demon influenced the monkeypox narrative in his eyes. So he believed the words of a demon. Now that's very interesting, isn't it? Because Greg Locke, he has talked to a demon before. He has believed the words of a demon before. Now, to keep it $1.50 here, this probably wasn't actually a real demon. This demon told him the names of some witches in the church. Aka people he didn't like, or people who told his wife that he was half cocked. But he's believed the words of a demon before. So I don't understand here, Greg. I I don't get it.
There is no global pandemic of monkeypox, just like there was no first round global pandemic.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Monkeypox isn't real. Monkeypox isn't real. So all the global international health concern declarations have been specifically engineered by demons and the Democrats to influence the United States midterm elections. Now, keep in mind, the WHO, they've got a lot of members all over the world. And the world, as sad as it is, it doesn't revolve around the United States. So, a virus, I'm sorry, a narrative was created that a virus is going to require a 2020 level lockdown just to help one particular political party in one particular country win the midterm election. Are you serious? No way, man.
It wasn't then, it's not now. I don't care how mad that
Total
makes you.
BS.
Look, people, we know the facts. The numbers were skewed. We have been lied to.
You do not believe the facts. The numbers have been skewed towards underestimates. Because there are more COVID cases in this country and in the world than have been reported. There have been more deaths than have been reported. And maybe this monkeypox stuff is going underreported too. Because there was some stuff that came out on Twitter, and yes, I know, Twitter is for queer, Twitter is, I don't care what you say. When it comes down to it, there was a document on there that said that the monkeypox was potentially airborne. So I think that we're kind of underestimating this virus. So if it does get more serious, then we got to leave that possibility. And I'll eat my hat if they make new lockdowns. It'd be stupid as hell, but they can do it. If they say it's for the good of the community, well, shit, I don't have a choice. But Gregory here is underestimating it in the complete wrong way. He doesn't take anything at face value. He gives this the most uncharitable he gives this the most uncharitable interpretation possible. Honestly, a kind of schizoid interpretation of the Democrats are colluding with demons and dark international forces to engineer a narrative of a virus instead of the simpler solution, which is that a virus is real and it's spreading in somewhat unexplained ways, is a much easier explanation than the forces of hell coming up to influence world events. Isn't that the plot of fucking Man of Glory? Who cares? Just
And the fact that people like being lied to shows us that biblical prophecy
like
is
being
coming
lied
true.
to.
Some people would rather,
What?
many people, in fact, would rather believe a lie because it makes them comfortable.
No. This really isn't a lie. I think we keep it $1.50. The virus probably is real because that's a lot easier to believe than Democrats and demons colluding to engineer a narrative of a virus. I hate saying that word narrative because it's so commonly used to refer to things that just are. Okay, you can say that there's a trans or gay narrative going around. And I mean, yeah, people are talking about it, but that doesn't change the fact that people of those particular categories exist. Okay, you can talk about it all you want, but you're not getting rid of them. We can talk about how the monkeypox is fake all we want, but that doesn't change the fact that it's real. So me and Gregory could sit in a room and argue all day about monkeypox, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still an evolving situation and that the virus is still real because they didn't just make it up. Just they didn't make up the virus recently. This is endemic in certain parts of Africa. Okay, it came from an African monkey. So Democrats didn't just pull out a whiteboard and start writing on and coming up with ideas for how to win the next election, because a virus that you can't get under control, because you clearly couldn't get COVID under control earlier this year. That is not a good strategy to win the midterms. But what do I know? Shit.
You can sleep with yourself in the middle of the night and believe a lie. Great. I can't know the truth and not tell it, and I know the truth.
He said that before. This was during his confronting the culture sermon. And there he said, I can't know what your kids are being taught in school and not say anything. They're being taught absolute open pornography, and they are not. They're not being taught all that. He's feeding into the, and here's this word again. He's feeding into the narrative that kids are being taught all this liberal left stuff in schools, when really that's not the case most of the time. Most of the schools are not. They're not pushing or peddling this woke nonsense. They're just teaching whatever's in the curriculum. And when it comes down to it, a lot of this oh my god, schools are so woke thing comes from the fact that schools that are accurately teaching about American history, such as slavery, was indentured. It was indentured servitude. They kidnapped a bunch of Africans and then brought them back to the U.S. to work as slaves, and then that's why there are a bunch of black people in the U.S. But no, they can't teach about that at all. What? That's so stupid. Anything that makes white people look bad, I think that's where the whole woke thing came from. Anything that makes white people look bad, they don't like, and to me that's just asinine, because they twisted and contorted the argument into something that's not.
And the truth is, I'm not believing this nonsense, and so I'm.
All right, don't believe it. I'll see you on the other side.
I'm beating the drum. I'm turning up the microphone. I'm going to preach the word of the living God, and nobody is going to stop us. The gates of hell shall not prevail against the church, so Biden and monkeypox aren't going to do it. Okay,
wait, hold on. I got to rewind that. What'd he say?
Gates of hell shall not prevail against the church, so Biden and monkeypox aren't going to do it.
Biden and monkeypox. So the gates of hell are Biden and monkeypox. Oh my God, man. Oh my God! I wonder what it's like to live in a world where everything is fake. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. Everything is an agenda created by the liberal left or demons or whatever. Because it's got to be a very interesting world. Hell, I think there are medications for that.
Okay, what they need to do is keep discovering all the wicked, nefarious, ungodly, low-down, demonic pedophilia all over Hunter's laptop and his cell phone.
Why is he talking about Hunter's laptops? This video already had nothing to do with what the channel is supposed to be about, from the channel of Mr. Locke, pastor of Global Vision Bible Church. And then he was talking about monkeypox, and now he goes on a rant about Hunter Biden's laptop. Are you serious? What are you talking about? Oh Lord.
And quit worrying about monkeypox, right? What they ought to do is clean up the White House. That's what they need to do. They need to clean up the White House and quit worrying about your house, quit worrying about my house, and quit worrying about God's house. But at this point...
Oh, yeah, because the White House is full of wicked, corrupt fools. Because from 2017 to 2021, there wasn't a wicked, corrupt, adultering, just low down, dirty, compromising fool, as Greg would like to say, in the White House. And Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump. For a time, Greg Locke saw Donald Trump as a messiah. I don't think that's true anymore, because after Donald Trump came out in favor of the vaccines, Greg Locke turned on Trump. Because he's saying, hey, I need some of you who are waiting on Trump to come and save them, leave this church now. Because, interestingly enough, he fostered an environment where there were people in the congregation who actually believed that Trump was going to rise up from the grave as a messiah type figure to come in and save America. No one is coming to save America. Okay? No matter if we're in the rather mundane but shitty situation that we're in now, or if we're in complete moral crisis, as some people like to think, no one is coming to save us. Donald Trump is not going to save us. Only we can save ourselves by not voting for incompetent fools to sit on Capitol Hill. You got people like Mitch McConnell, the obstructionist of the century, and Nancy Pelosi, who right after the Roe v. Wade thing released an email to all of her financial supporters begging for money, talking about the Democrats just suffered a major blow in the fight for abortion rights. And I'm like, this is not the time to ask for money. There are people who were seriously psychologically affected by that ruling. I wasn't one of them, but she's got to learn. She's got to learn to read the room, because you do not send out an email begging for money based on some sort of based on a political event like the overturning of Roe v. Wade like that. That's so out of touch. You need to stop voting in these geezers in the Capitol Hill, because that is not the way. That is not the way we move forward as a country.
You better hear me, and you better hear me well. I'm
All
fired
right.
up.
You're
I'm
fired
in
up.
prayer form in the morning as I preach the word of the living God. I've got a story from the Old Testament.
Oh Lord, you can already tell the videos of him on Twitter are gonna be circulating every now and then. I see, because he got banned from Twitter himself. His Twitter account got banned, but I see videos from him circulating on Twitter sometimes, be it from Friendly Atheist, Telltale, whatever the hell. Oh Lord, when he goes off. Oh God, when Mr. Locke gets fired up, it's gonna be everywhere. Sometimes it even ends up on shitty news sites like Young Turks, all that. Lord, man.
Been on my heart, that's been birthed in me, and that was before the WHO, World Health Organization, declared an international crisis. Well,
Oh God,
I'm declaring an international
that's what it's
crisis
called.
of stupidity, if you believe this stuff. So we're open today.
Well, I believe it, so I guess I'm internationally stupid. Screw me.
We're open tomorrow. We're gonna stay open, and nobody, not even
There is no. Okay, I want to make this completely clear. There are no current regulations as of July 23rd, 2022. I just want to say the date for posterity. There are no current regulations regarding the monkeypox outbreak. There are no lockdowns. There are limited restrictions in the U.S. I don't think there are really any nationally, federally mandated restrictions. You don't have to wear a mask on the plane. You don't have to wear it on a bus. You don't have to wear a mask anywhere you go. No one is requiring you to. All right, Greg. So tomorrow, I am certain that nothing is going to change. So you will be just having church on a normal day in 2022. There aren't going to be any lockdown orders, and I'm sure that if they do declare some sort of lockdown, and you are going to be spitting hell or high water about it, you're going to be breaking bad about it, you're going to be raising Cain. But tomorrow, Sunday, July 24th, 2022, I guarantee you, there won't be any restrictions. And say I'm part of the secret cabal, part of the democratic demons that invented monkeypox, you can call me that, whatever you want. But you will just be having a normal church sermon, and you will be going up on that pulpit running your mouth for nothing. Made this 10-minute video for nothing. Alright, man? This is a bad look for you. You're embarrassing yourself. You got to stop doing this stuff. There are easier ways to get attention. I've seen this before. I've had friends, that absolutely crave attention, because I guess they don't get enough at home. I guess they just don't get enough from their friends, and so they linger around. They say all this out of pocket stuff, and that's not the way to get attention. That's not positive attention, because then people look at you as like a fool or a perv or whatever, And in your case, you look like a fool. All right, there are easier ways to get attention, okay? Because I love your spirit, Greg. Yeah, you have a great spirit in your way of speaking. You can keep the audience engaged. But how about you stop using it to peddle hate and start using it to primarily peddle the word of God? You don't need to get up in the pulpit and start talking about politics every Sunday and Wednesday, because that's not normal. Most preachers do not do that, okay? I hope you know that, Greg.
the devil himself. No one is going to stop us from worshiping God. Stop living in fear.
No one is stopping you from worshiping God tomorrow, okay, Greg? You will get up in that pulpit and try to make it seem like it, but tomorrow no one will be stopping you, because nothing can happen that fast, and there very likely won't be a lockdown. Hell, the WHO declared COVID-19 a public health emergency of international concern in January. There weren't any lockdowns in the U.S. until mid-March, okay? So let's keep it real here. If anything happens, it's probably not going to be until September. But by then, the government won't want to, because school would have already started. There won't be a convenient time to institute lockdowns, and they probably won't need to in the first place. Quit it, Greg. Just stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. I'm trying to live in faith that you can turn from your unique ways. So yeah, that was Greg Locke's video telling us about the wickedness that was surrounding the monkeypox narrative that the demons and Democrats invented. And really, when it comes down to it, Greg Locke is a cartoonish figure. It doesn't even seem like he's a real person. He just says these wildly inappropriate and just untrue things, and he suffers no consequences for it. And this needs to stop. He loves attention, and I know that stuff like this video was giving him attention, but stuff like this needs to be called out because he lied for 10 minutes and 35 seconds, and honestly went into hysteria over something that really isn't even an issue yet. There was just a declaration from the WHO, an organization that he doesn't respect, and says is haunted and infested with demons. So if the organization is demon possessed and the work of the devil, then why exactly are you listening to anything they say? Why are you taking heed of anything they say? You know? Because at that point, what they say should be irrelevant. You should be living your life. It shouldn't matter to you what the WHO says, but I guess he has to inform his audience that Joe Biden is working with the demonic Democrat demagogues and WHO and Hunter Biden's laptop and all these other conservative buzzwords or whatever. It's just infuriating, man. It's infuriating to see stuff like this, and this is one of those rare occasions where I have to call it out because stuff like this isn't right. He shouldn't lie to honestly vulnerable people, because people who actually believe stuff like that, they're very vulnerable. They think that there will be another lockdown. And let's keep it a buck 50 here. I don't care whatever establishment says about it. The lockdowns were psychologically damaging for a lot of people. It was damaging for a lot of people. There was a time of fear. There was a lot of anxiety going around. Let's keep it real. There was a lot of anxiety going around. And now he's trying to invoke that response again from his audience, whoever he thinks is going to believe this nonsense. And to me, that's one of the worst things you can do. You shouldn't play mind games like that, because he's making a mountain out of a molehill. This isn't even that much of a serious issue yet, but I'm going on about it for a while. Greg Locke, if you're watching this, I highly doubt that you watched this far through. Just come on, man. You can do better than this. Man to man, this isn't how you should be acting, and you need to do a better job of just how you present yourself, how you act on the internet and in the pulpit. Because you get up there and you start talking about all these politics and start all this shop talk about other preachers, and that's not the way. I'm not a preacher, but I know that's not the way, because I've seen good preachers before. And Mr. Locke, I don't think you're one of them. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. If you are anxious about this monkeypox stuff, then do your own research on it, because I can't tell you whether to be afraid of it or not. You know, I can't tell you whether to be afraid of it or not, and it's not really my place to espouse my level of anxiety over it, since we all have our journeys. So, with that said, that'll basically wrap up this video. Thank you for watching this far, if you have, and that'll be it for me. Jarvis gotten out. Normal videos will come soon. I had to talk about this, man. It felt important.